Right. Share a little bit of my testimony. So this first part is going to be, about my before Christ and the demonic torment that I experienced. And so it's a little heavy, if you don't want children's or anyone to listen to it. But just real quick, I just hit on it is ever since I was little, I was always able to see into the spirit realm. And the things that I saw, like, really tormented me, emotionally and physically as well. Um, Shadows would scare me, like, not people shadows, but like shadow people. Like demonic spirits that would torment me and scare me. The demons would manifest in the physical. One appeared like me when I was little and was like walking towards me, and it scared the crap out of me. These demonic spirits would touch me, throw stuff at me while I'm sleeping, open and close the doors, turn the lights on and off. My family was tormented by these evil spirits as well, especially when we moved to Valley Springs, California, from Manteca, California. And, my grandparents and my aunt and uncle, would tell me of different haunting things that would happen, and it was a really troubling time. Honestly, like the most peace I had would be when I was sleeping. I remember one time when I was 3, my mom went away prison for a long time. When I was like 3 or 4, we were living in Manteca. I was walking down the hallway, and this demonic spirit as big as the ceiling, 8 or 9 feet tall, chased me down the hallway. So I was going to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and it jumped into me and tackled me to the ground. And it was a demon of rage, and from that point I had so much rage. I would shake with rage and just explode and do random wicked things sometimes. But it wasn't until I got saved that I really got free of that stuff. I ended up going to church camp. I was on my way to join the Marines. I was gonna go to MEPS and do all my stuff. And before I went to go hang out with some buddies, and ended up going to a buddy ended up talking me into going to church camp. And it was a Holy Roller Pentecostal church camp, through a church called Burson Church in Burson, California. And we used to go to this place called Volcano, up in the mountains. And someone was supposed to pick me up on Wednesday, but it turns out they were never going to pick me up because they said they knew I was going to get saved. And while I was there, the pastor, Brother Deathridge, he has a church over in Riverside, California. And he was preaching out of Galatians about the fruits of the Spirit. And, for the first time in my life, the Spirit of God came and touched me and took all the evil out of me. Is that before I was saved, I couldn't hear the name Jesus. I couldn't see the name Jesus. And my grandfather one time tried showing me the name Jesus, and I couldn't even see it. I was like, this looks like a bunch of like symbols to me. My reading was poor, but it wasn't that poor. But and before that point at church camp, in the past, multiple times people tried to talk to me about Jesus. Like, even when I was 6 years old, I stayed with my Auntie Lori and Uncle Chris down in Chowchilla, California, and they used to go to church every Sunday. And the youth pastors, they held me back one time. They let everyone else go, and this guy and this girl, they held me back, and they sat me in this chair in this room, and they tried telling me about Jesus. And like, my spirit man came out of my body, and I overlooked myself, and I started manifesting demons. I was like, like that, like laughing at them, and just like going wild. But I was like watching myself in the third person. Stuff like that would happen. My Uncle David, tried doing the same thing when my great-grandmother Sarah, when she was dying in the hospital, he pulled me aside into this room privately, and he tried talking to me about Jesus. And things like I would hear the Lord, right? The Lord, but I couldn't hear Jesus. And as soon as he started talking more, saying the name of Jesus more, again, my spirit man came out of my body, and I started going, yeah, and it's like manifesting these demons. So I fast forward back to church camp. It was Wednesday. I was waiting for my ride. My ride never showing up. Brother Deffridge was preaching about the fruits of the Spirit, and the Spirit of God hit me. And the hand of God reached inside of me. That's the only way that I can describe it. And took out all the wickedness. Because before that, I can look at a person and I would know multiple ways on how to kill and destroy that person within half a second. But the Lord took that all away, because I would daydream and just imagine and dream about hurting people, but that was all gone, and I was just in a place of peace. I was like, and everything was white. Everything turned white, but different shades of white. And I was just sitting there, and then this guy named Jeff Warden came and sat next to me, and he's like, Anthony, would you like to pray? And I said, yes. That's the first time in my life I ever said yes. And I prayed and received Jesus into my heart right then and there. And from then, my life went completely supernatural in the heavenly way. The way it was in the darkness, it went into the heavenly way. All right, stay tuned for part 2.